Hey guys, so starting today, I will be posting these videos in your homeworks. And if you find yourself struggling in the homework or you just want to review today's class, this video is for you. So today we're going to be discussing lesson 11. And just in case you forgot what today's class was about, we discussed real life relationships that graphs might present to us. For example, this graph right here. So we're going to take a deeper dive on this graph and things that you should really pay close attention to when given any graph, to be honest, but especially this graph right here. So let's dive in, guys. So first thing, you want to look at the title. So this title says airplane velocities after takeoff. Guys, that's important. I now know what this graph is going to be about. It lets me know airplane velocities after takeoff. If I didn't read that title, or if you didn't read that title either, how are you going to know what this graph is about? If you can't answer anything if you don't know. And that title is a great start to understanding what the graph is telling you. Now, you want to then take a closer look at the axes and see what that information is there. So let's look at the x-axis right there. So if you look closely, it says altitude and in parentheses, thousands of feet. That is key. This entire unit thus far, whenever we discuss units for the x-axis, we use the word unit. For example, you want to go 3 units to the right on the x-axis, 2 units up on the y-axis. Now, this x-axis has a unit that you're more comfortable with, feet. But then they had an extra word that you had to be careful for, thousands of feet. So that 5 on the x-axis that you see right there, it doesn't actually represent 5 feet. It represents an altitude of 5,000 feet. So if you didn't read the x-axis, that information would have been totally lost to you. And if I was to ask you what is the velocity for any, the altitude for any velocity, you would have not given me something in the thousands of feet. And that information is right there in your x-axis. Now let's see what the y-axis tells us. So if we look at the y-axis, which is right there now, it says velocity and in parentheses, miles per hour. So this lets us know that one coordinate within the y-axis represents miles per hour. For example, if you was to go to the y-coordinate of 200, that actually represents a velocity of 200 miles per hour. So just like when we were dealing with unit conversions or any problem that gave us units, if I was to ask a question regarding the y-axis or the x-axis, you must now include that unit in your answer. For example, if I was to say, what does 400 represent on the y-axis, the correct answer will be a velocity of 400 miles per hour. So now let's take a closer look at a specific point on the graph. So I highlighted the point 25, 500. What does that point mean? One would say, well, 25 represents the x-axis, the x-coordinate, Mr. Morales, and 500 represents the y-coordinate, Mr. Morales. But I want you to be more specific, scholar. Be more specific. Okay, then they might say, well, I know that that point represents that the airplane has a velocity of 500 miles per hour and it has an altitude of 25,000 feet. Okay, that is a correct answer as well. We can even be more specific. One way we could say that, and if you look at the text in the red right over there, one way you could say it is when the airplane has an altitude of 25,000 feet, the airplane has a velocity of 500 miles per hour. These graphs let us know a relationship, and this relationship is the velocity and the altitude for an airplane. So that is one way to say it. But now, let's take a look at all the points. Bam, did it for you already, don't worry. So right here in this chart, you have all the points on the graph that we already provided. Now this is the best part. So in this video, I'm not going to tell you what the pattern is, but if you look carefully, you will find a pattern with our coordinates. Now, once you find the pattern, you can now make inferences about points that aren't on the graph. For example, if I was to ask, what is the altitude of the airplane when the velocity is 700 miles per hour? If you figured out the pattern, if there is a pattern, you can answer that question. So go ahead and take a stab at your homework now. And if you still have any questions, please email me or Mr. Patterson, and we'll be more than welcome to help. I hope this video helped, and please send feedback as well. Thanks, guys.